Alright, so seeing as trans rights are just continually on the sacrificial altar for some reason, I've been thinking a lot about my life pre-transition, and I decided I needed to make this video. And this video is not going to make me look like a good person, because pre-transition I wasn't a good person, but I do feel it necessary to share that part of my life, because I need y'all to truly understand how much HRT saved me. Yesterday I said I have been going through my transition pretty much for the entire time I've been on this app. I need y'all to know something. I made this account about 2 weeks after a serious unaliving attempt. And about a week after that, I started HRT. Now, my transness was not the only factor in this unaliving attempt. My grandmother had also just passed away. And I was raised by my grandmother. She was essentially my mother. So there was a lot going on at this time, not just this. But I want to share what my life was like up until that point, which was hell. Around age 12, I started having this strange feeling. I didn't have the words for it. It wasn't like I could have explained it to a doctor, you know. It was just this feeling of being not quite in my body. When I looked at my chest, it was more like having two big cysts. Like these, pustulous boils on me. I knew I had feelings for girls, but for some reason, a relationship with girls never felt right. And relationships with boys, or, as I grew older, men, those felt all-consuming. And I was just miserable. I was, averaging out, one unaliving attempt per year. How none of them ever got me is truly a miracle and a mystery. My parents had no fucking idea what to do. How could they? It was, the 2000s. Nobody fucking talked about this shit. Nobody talked about being trans. Nobody especially talked about the fact that young people could be trans. And when it was talked about, it was either a punchline or, it was a dead body in CSI. And then even when we started talking about it a little more, it was always this very clear-cut thing of I was 9 years old and I put on my mother's high-heeled shoes and I knew I was a woman. And that's not how it was for me at all. I liked sequins, I liked sparkly things. And I remember my grandmother used to take me to the Dolly Parton Stampede when I was a little kid. And I would look at those men in those sequined outfits. And the ladies who'd, be wearing those, suits, and they would, jump through the hoops of fire on their horses. And I was like, I want to be that. I don't know what that is, but I want to be that. And that never translated to me as wanting to be a man. It just translated to me as wanting to be covered in sequins riding a horse. And so I just never caught on. And so I just spent my life kind of living in misery. Nameless misery. And when you're just living your life in nameless misery, you're just doing whatever makes you feel good, whether it's ethical or not. It was this sort of hedonistic nihilism based around chasing my own personal pleasure. And I would date these men because I thought I liked men. Update, I don't like men. But for a long time, I thought I liked men because when I was with men, I felt more complete. I would date, and I'm going to be real here, very stupid, cruel, selfish men. And I think subconsciously I kind of felt like if I could fix them, that was almost like being one. That as long as a man was inside me, it was the next best thing. And when you're doing that, your relationships are not good. They just ended up being, me, a selfish fuck, and another selfish fuck leeching off one another. And when they would leave, I freaked the fuck out because it felt like a piece of myself was being torn out. I felt incomplete without them. And it was usually for the better for both of us if they left, because usually they were assholes. Actually, yeah, always they were assholes. And I was a fucking asshole too. An asshole who didn't want to be alive and was trying to get whatever good feeling from whatever would provide me good feelings whenever I could. And then, about 5 years ago, something finally fucking cracked. I knew I needed top surgery. I didn't know if I wanted to go on hormones, but I knew I needed top surgery. But my insurance would only cover top surgery if I got on hormones. So I was like, fuck it, if this is what I gotta do, then this is what I gotta do. And so I got on hormones, and it changed my fucking life. I mean, really and truly, within a few months, this brain that had always been so loud just slowly started to quiet down. And it didn't happen all at once. I still had to spend a couple years, learning to be an actual fucking person. Because before that, I had been essentially emotionally and spiritually dead. But it had been like I had spent my entire life watching a 3D movie without the glasses, and testosterone let me put them on. It was like my brain had always needed this chemical, and no amount of therapy, no amount of medication before that would have fixed anything. Because I was fundamentally missing something in my body. Now, this isn't everyone's trans experience, this is just mine. But I know I'm not alone in this either. I am able to have a good life where I am happy and kind and able to have good relationships because of HRT. I had tried for years in vain to improve my mental health. It did not work. The only thing that worked was HRT. And now I have to live with the person I was for all those years, all the pain I was in, all the pain I allowed people to cause me, and all the pain that I caused other people, because I was not stable. There were definitely moments that I would call like psychosis, complete breaks from reality, because my brain did not have the chemical in it that it fucking needed. Like, I was so out of it. I could not maintain employment. I could not, exist in society. And I cannot go back to that. For me, like I said, this isn't everyone's trans experience, but for me, this is a chemical imbalance that only testosterone can solve, okay? And I know that there are so many other trans people like me in this world. And if you take away HRT, you will be condemning them to a pain without a name. The more you hide this from young people, you're not going to make them not trans. What you are doing is condemning them to nameless suffering. That is it. And it will tear families apart. And for what? Because trans people make you personally uncomfortable? You want to know discomfort? Try not living in your fucking body for 20 years. Try ruining everything you fucking touch because you are psychotic half the time. Try going through every fucking therapy and medication you can fucking think of, and nothing ever gets solved. And then you find one thing, and the government rips it away from you for no fucking reason. I don't give a shit about your discomfort being around trans people. If the discomfort you have around trans people is the worst thing fucking happening in your life, you got it pretty good. Because every day now, I wonder who I could have been had I had access to HRT from an earlier age. And it is crazy to me that you want this many people to suffer, because them existing makes you kinda uncomfy. Well, you know what else usually makes y'all uncomfy? Homeless people. And you're gonna have a whole bunch of fucking trans homeless people now, because there's gonna be a whole lot of us, like me, who without HRT cannot maintain meaningful employment, or end up with mental health issues so severe they cannot maintain stable housing, which is how I fucking lived. And so now you just made more homeless people. That's it. That's all you're gonna get. If you don't let us piss in the public bathrooms, we're gonna be homeless pissing on your doorstep. So you've really screwed yourself in all of this too. But, I'm used to that by now. Y'all can't seem to, for some reason, stop screwing yourselves over to screw us over a little bit more.